I was out of an evening with my husband and my children, and we pimped my cane up with glow sticks so that, you know, people could see me coming.
Nice.
And I had a lady come up to me, and bless her, she was drunk, and she asked me if it was a metal detector.
And because I can access my medical notes on the NHS app, I went on the app to see whether there was anything up there, and I got to read what he'd written from our appointment in the letter that he sent to London. And it said that Mr. Sears came in with his adapted walking stick. Okay, so I've got a really, really exciting video for you today. I met this lady, I think on Instagram. Was it Instagram? Or was it LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I think you'd heard me on Suffolk Sound Radio.
Yes, that was it. So I went and checked out Lou, and it turned out that she's in Norwich. So I said we should definitely get together and do a video. And we had a little Zoom, and I had so much fun on our Zoom calls that I was like, we need to get you in the studio. So Lou is all over LinkedIn and Instagram. Impact with Lou is your channel, correct?
It is, yeah.
Yes.
My handle.
Lou, it is nice to see you and meet you in person.
It's nice to meet you as well, Rob. Can't see you, but it's good to meet you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do today, are we going with blind person bingo? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, we'll be PC about it.
Yes. I wasn't, and Lou corrected me. But what we're going to do is we're just going to have a discussion about stuff that kind of grinds our gears a little bit. So it should be a lot of fun, and you can kind of play along with this at home and be like, actually, yeah, that really resonates with me. So if there's something that we talk about and you go, yeah, I know exactly what I mean, post it in the comments, and let's try and get a bit of a chat going. So Lee, do you want to start us off with your point number one?
What really irritates me, the stupid things that people say with regards to visual impairment and sight loss, and they probably don't even think out of their mouth. When people say, when they're wearing glasses and they've broken their glasses or they've mislaid them, I'm so blind without my glasses. I'm just like, really?
Yeah. Because they're not, are they?
No,
let's be honest, they're not. No,
not at all. And it's I think it's just a figure of speech that people have said for years and years and years. And for some people who are generally visually impaired, it's like water off a duck's back. But for other people, it's really insensitive, really triggering as well. And it's just like, just be a little bit more mindful about the things that you say. I can remember years ago, my youngest son wears glasses and has done since he was 3, being in an optician's, and somebody was virtually hysterical because they'd broken their glasses and the optician couldn't fix them there and then. They'd have to go a few days without having a pair of glasses. And they were almost at the point of screaming that I'm blind without my glasses. And I was sat there with my cane.
Did you get your cane?
Yeah, you're not blind without your glasses, love. Sorry.
No, there's levels, isn't there? There's levels of blindness, and you're not there. Yeah.
No, it's a spectrum, and I think people don't realise that because there is no education, unless it's the likes of myself and yourself banging our respective drums about what is sight loss and the realities of it. So yes, that is one of the things that really annoys me.
Like it. Good one to start us off. All right, so I'm going to chuck one at you. Not literally,
Go
but...
for it. I wouldn't catch it.
Yellow wet floor signs.
Oh, aren't they amazing?
They
when
are.
you kind of barrel into them with your cane and you knock them flying, and it's like, where have they gone?
Yeah. One thing that really gets me about those is they're left as wet floor warnings, but they're on floors that are dry, and there's no wetness in sight. Like, what's the point? I swear it's literally just there to trip me up.
It probably was wet at like 3 hours ago, but nobody's remembered to go back and pick it up and move it.
No. And the other thing that really irritates me is that when you knock these things over, which I always do, they make such a big noise that everyone turns around to look at the blind man that's just knocked over the yellow wet floor sign.
Yes. But nobody comes to help you.
No, they're just, oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, you just want
Hate
the
'em.
ground to open up and
Yes.
swallow you whole.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
just get me out of here. But I have seen there's a wet floor sign that is shaped like it's literally shaped like a banana. Have you come across that?
No.
And the great thing about that is if you knock into it, it pretty much stays upright and just sort of skids across the floor. So
Where have you seen that?
I can't remember, but I am gonna Google it and put a link to it so that everybody that's watching this that owns a wet floor sign can trade it up for a wet floor banana. Because
it can't be
they're pretty cool.
somewhere in Norfolk, because
No.
that's just not normal for Norfolk.
It's there's a lot of things that are normal for Norfolk, but a banana wet floor
No, that's not
thing
definitely
is
not one of them.
But I'm going to put it out there because people watching this might think that I'm being crazy, but it's definitely a wet floor banana. It's great. Honestly, it's really, really cool. But the normal A-frame clap it, like, get rid of them, recycle them into something useful, because I don't find it useful at all.
And the only people that can really see them are children, because they're generally no taller than your knees, or somebody in a wheelchair or a pushchair.
Yeah.
And most people wander along with their head and their eyes focused on their phone.
Yep.
Rather than what's going on around them.
This is true.
Yeah.
See, we could go for hours talking just about this, because there's so many of them. Lampposts, grey lampposts, like
They're good to hug, aren't they?
Oh my goodness, yeah. And those scaffolding poles, most of them get that yellow foamy stuff put around it now, so it's a little bit easier. But when they don't, yeah,
they are quite painful.
almost as bad. Yeah, I just bounce off them with my shoulders.
Yeah, I do that with door frames.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know what it is. Anything like that. Yellow wet floor sign, though, it's like a magnet. I will always fall over it or whatever, And people saying, oh, watch out for the wet floor sign is not helpful.
No, it's like, well, where is it?
It's worse. It's even worse.
To the right, straight in front.
Yeah. I just panic and don't move anywhere because I don't want to knock it over. But yeah, that's that. There we go. Wet floor signs. That's going to get some comments, I'm sure.
More than likely.
Yes. Your turn.
Oh, let me think. When people have no real concept of what a white cane is. So, quite a few years ago now, and I was out of an evening with my husband and my children, and we'd pimped my cane up with glow sticks so that, people could see me coming.
Nice.
And I had a lady come up to me, and bless her, she was drunk, and she asked me if it was a metal detector.
No.
And I'm just like, no, sorry,
Sorry
to disappoint you, it's not a metal detector. I was like, it's actually a long white cane. I said, I'm visually impaired. And she was absolutely mortified. So she wasn't drunk enough to kind of not be aware of that. But it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, it's fine. I was like, you didn't know. You asked the question.
No.
I gave you a straight answer.
I mean, there's lots of thoughts in my brain about that. The first one would be you need to get a metal detector, because that would be that would be quite cool. Yeah, that would be really awesome, wouldn't it? Or invent a cane that is a metal detector. So actually, because it would be handy.
Yeah.
Because we sweep a lot,
Yeah.
It would be quite cool.
And I think probably because I was in a field and I wasn't sweeping with a cane.
Yep.
Because you just can't.
No.
The terrain is so rough.
Yep.
So I had it diagonally across me and was pushing it along.
Yeah.
That probably confused her.
Yeah, maybe.
And it does seem to confuse people, because I've been out walking in a local woodland, and I had a more mature lady said to me, oh, is that a trundle wheel? And I'm like,
really?
No. And it's because it wasn't sweeping in front of me.
Yeah.
So I told her what it was, and she's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Fancy me not knowing that. And after we'd walked on, my son said to me, he's like, Mummy, he said, you're always so polite when people ask you really stupid questions.
Wow.
I'm like, yes, I am.
So this will get you, right? And I have proof of this. I'm not going to post it up because... So I went to the doctor's and I saw... It's like a partner in the GP surgery. And I walked in with my cane. And I had a discussion with him about genetic testing. And he was sending a referral letter to Moorfields. And because I can access my medical notes on the NHS app, I went on the app to see whether there was anything up there, and I got to read what he'd written from our appointment in the letter that he sent to London. And it said that Mr. Sears came in with his adapted walking stick. I was like, for goodness sake, like...
Oh my goodness me.
I was like,
there's no hope then, is there?
No, there's not. If this person thinks that a white cane is an adapted walking stick, I said to Lauren, he sent that to Moorfields. What if they think I don't use a white cane? What if they think that I'm just, making it up or whatever, and I'm just going in with the walking stick? And I was like, I can't believe this. Yeah, and no word of lie, it's on my NHS app. So
Brilliant.
When I go and do big speaking events at some point, I'm going to lead with that story of like, we need to get the message out there about these things to try and help people.
Yeah.
I mean, I laughed. After I'd sort of got quite angry and upset about it, I did have a good laugh. But I was like, there's no hope for us. No.
You kind of have to laugh, if not you'll just cry.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many people are affected by this, but I am affected by it anytime I step out of the house. It's the electric scooters and bikes. The barrel, oh my goodness. So my two issues with it is A, they're silent, so people can creep up on you, and people using them look at you so strange when they make you jump. But like they creep up, they're so fast, they creep up on you really quick, and you have to dive in the bushes to get out of the way. And then the second thing is when people are done with them, they just leave them anywhere. So
just literally abandon them.
I actually pick them up. Lauren hates it, but if I've got one, I'm like, I've got to pick it up and move it. I've got to get it out of the way.
But it doesn't impact your ability to get around. A mum with a pushchair, anybody on a mobility scooter or in a wheelchair, they could potentially have to go out into the road to go around that obstruction that's being left.
Yep.
No, they are lethal. Touch wood, I've never had a run-in with a scooter. Cars and buses, yes. And regular bicycles, yes.
Yeah.
So crossing roads, particularly when I used to take my youngest son to school, well, actually my eldest as well, he's 18 now, but so that was a long time ago, I could never hear bicycles coming, and I couldn't see them coming either.
No.
So the number of times my kids are like, no, mummy, there's a bike. Or if I'm on my own and I've stepped out, and then all of a sudden they then pop out of my missing central vision. I'm like, oh gosh, sorry, and kind of quickly try and run across the road.
Yep.
It's like, oh, do I stop? Do I keep going? It's not knowing. But it's the same with electric vehicles. They are an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Electric cars.
Yes.
And I think our next door neighbour's got an electric vehicle. It's a company car. I can hear that coming, but it's because we live on a quiet cul-de-sac. But if it's a busy road, you stand no hope whatsoever of hearing an electric vehicle coming. And even buses, even though they're double-decker buses, you may be standing in the middle of Norwich, trying to cross the road, at a certain junction where they've taken away all the pedestrian controls, which is an absolute nightmare to navigate now. And you're looking up the road and you know that there's a bus stop up there and there are electric buses on the route, and it's just like, is there one there? Is there one not there? I don't know. Can't see. Can I hear it coming? No. They should, by law, it should be not able to switch off a noise that they make. It should be compulsory. It should be able to be disabled on the vehicle. But I don't actually like going on electric buses either.
No?
No.
I love it.
They make really strange noises.
They are a bit
it's
weird.
Like the creaky noise when you've stopped, and whether it's the batteries kind of regenerating themselves, charging, or if it's the brakes, it's a bit disconcerting.
It's weird. I love it though. They feel very smooth.
Yes, they do. I'll give them that.
Nice on the inside, but a nightmare for No, electric vehicles are a bit hazard. So this is a good one for Norwich, and again another thing that people will know if they live in Norwich. There's been some construction on a roundabout, and I'm not sure who was in charge of figuring out where the pedestrians would go and the bikes would go. But depending on where you cross the roundabout, on some bits the pedestrian bit is the inside lane, and on some bits the bike is on the inside lane. So depending on how you cross the road, you might walk across the road straight into the bike lane, and the amount of times that I've almost been chopped in half by a bike as I've stepped across the crossing it's mad.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
I can remember when I had my mobility training way back when, very long time ago, and I was always trained that if you cross any type of road, if there's no pelican crossing or zebra crossing, you indent as far as you need to where it's quieter, so that you've got maximum use of your hearing, where there's the least amount of obstructions. And yes, it could mean that you do have to walk quite a long way out of your way to cross that road safely, but it means if that you're going to be safe, then it's worth doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is frustrating.
But the interesting point on that is that when I was doing my mobility training, I was told the same thing. But the pedestrian, the lowered curbs and the little nibbly bits to tell us that we're near the road,
Knobbly-bobbly bits.
some of them are right at the end of the road.
They
So
are
the
right on the mouth of the junction.
actual crossing points are right in a place where we're not supposed to cross.
Yes.
It's like, someone hasn't done their homework.
I don't necessarily think it's that, they just haven't got that awareness.
True.
So it's like road planning people, whatever you want to call them. They do it from the perspective of a cyclist, from the perspective of a car driver, not necessarily from the perspective of a pedestrian, and certainly not a pedestrian with sight loss.
No.
So there almost needs to be a consultative board of bodies that come together to discuss it, talk about it, and figure out the best possible place to have a safe crossing point. And then it's down to individuals whether they want to use it or not. Another bugbear I have is
Go on.
when I used to take my son to school, and we live in a village, and there's it's a very residential area, but the amounts of times that parents would jaywalk or just diagonally cross the mouth of two roads across junctions.
Yep.
And it's just like, you are really not teaching your child good road sense.
True.
So that when you come to give them a little bit more independence and they can start to walk to school by themselves, if they got knocked over because they're walking the route that you've subliminally been teaching them, you're not going to be very happy with the car driver, but actually it's on you because you've not taught them how to cross that road safely.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to shave off 30 seconds off your journey.
We all do it though, don't we?
No, I don't.
You don't do it?
No, I'm a good girl. I'm just like polishing my halo now. No, I don't do it.
No.
Even if I get to a crossing and it's a pelican crossing and I can hear that there's no traffic coming, but it still says wait and the little cone hasn't started spinning,
no.
I still wait.
Do you?
I still wait because, like, I don't know if there's an electric vehicle coming or a bike or something.
True.
Yeah. No, I am very good.
Yeah. See, but I tend to be
patience.
maybe it's the athlete in me, but I'm kind of like, if it sounds clear, I'm gonna go for it. And also, if I've got a cane, they're not gonna hit me, are they? Because that is not gonna look good in the paper when
No, that's very true.
know.
Have you ever had, though, when people stop to let you cross the road
Yeah.
and they might just like waggle their finger over the
Yeah, or
steering
they
wheel?
wave at you
I'm
and you
not
can't
aware of
quite
that,
work
But
out.
if I'm with somebody else, they're like, that person's waving at us to cross the road. I'm like,
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah, it's a weird situation, isn't it? Because it's like, I think they're letting me go, but I don't really know what they're doing. And it's a car and I'm a person, so I don't really know. This is kind of awkward. Yeah.
But again, you don't know that there's not a motorbike coming or
No.
a cyclist coming that's just going to overtake.
Or an electric double-decker bus to come and take us out.
That think, oh, why is that car stopped? I'm going to go around it. And
Yep.
You're flattened. So my last one is when companies make out that they are accessible, but actually the reality is that they are not. But the sighted community champion them and kind of really jump on the back and celebrate the fact that, oh, aren't you amazing because you're creating something that's accessible.
Okay.
But it's like, did you actually test this with the visually impaired community? Because clearly you didn't, because if you did, you'd see those glaring pitfalls in it.
See, I can feel you're like...
A rant?
Yeah, I can feel something brewing. So without naming names, because I'm not sure where you're going with that, but I'd love to know what you are.
Okay.
Without name, we can't name and shame.
Can't name names.
No name and shaming.
No. So the back end of last year, towards the festive period, shall we say, I saw a reel on Instagram promoting a certain high street chemist. And
we can't name.
No, we can't name.
No.
Their accessible gift guide for the festive period. That it was available in Braille.
Nice.
And that it was available in audio. And I thought, excellent, that's amazing. Like the sighted community, brilliant, I'll go and check that out. I don't read Braille, and I think it's something like 20% of people with sight loss can actually read Braille. So they've gone to all this expense of creating Braille versions, but actually very few people will probably request it. So I thought, excellent, I'll go and check out the audio version. When I eventually found the link, which was really, really, really hard to find, and I couldn't find it on their website, and I had to Google and keep digging, and eventually I found it. It led me to a single track YouTube video, and the video is just black, so it was just a single track audio that had been uploaded to YouTube that was 3 hours and 42 minutes long. I'm like, okay, so I started listening. I'm like, okay, so you've hired voiceover actors to read your gift guide, including telling people to scan the QR code on the page.
Helpful.
And it's like, well, there is no pages. So the assumption there being is that you're going to be listening to this audio whilst you also have the printed version in your hand and you're flipping the pages. Wow. And it was just like, why? Why have you done this and kind of making out that you are accessible, but actually the practicalities of it don't marry up? Wow. So I had numerous email conversations with this company. I rang them multiple times, spoke to lots of different people in lots of different departments, because apparently a leading sight loss charity in the UK had told me that there was a CD...
We're not naming, are we? We're not going to name and shame.
No,
okay.
That there was a CD version available. And I thought, brilliant, do you know what? A CD, if I can remember how to use a CD player, because I've not used one in years, that's indeed if we still have one in the house, it will have tracks on it. So therefore, surely it will make it easier to navigate through. So if, for instance, I wanted to skip to the perfume section or electrical beauty, I'll be able to do that. I think after about 3 or 4 weeks, the CD turned up at my house with a letter apologising that it had taken so long and that I'd had such a poor experience, that I was now on their accessibility list and I would receive all future gift guides in an audio format in the future. So worked out how to use the CD player, put it in. Was it accessible? No. Yes, you could skip through to different tracks, but there was no track announcements.
No.
And it's just like, it really doesn't take that much to put time stamps on an audio. So I've been told. I don't know how to do it, but I've been told it's not that hard to do. And it's like a glaring fault that it's missing.
Yeah.
And I fed that back to the leading eye charity who worked with this organisation
Yep.
to create it in the first place. And they're like, oh, that's a really good point.
Brilliant.
And I'm just like, why did you not think of it when you support people with sight loss every single day? So yeah, that was my rant. And there's also another very, very well known high street who do a festive food guide.
Oh,
that's a 3 hours and 8 minutes long YouTube with no timestamps.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's like, I only want to hear the puddings, and I can't. So I can't spend any money with you. No,
I won't spend any money because right. I'm going to stop us there because I've got stories about all this stuff. Good. Well, thank you for part 1. We're going to go and have something to eat, and we are then going to crack on with part 2. So keep watching. Lou is going to be ranting some more and we're going to be laughing some more, aren't we? But we're not naming and shaming because
No.
that's not what we do.
No.
So hope you enjoyed part 1 and make sure you check out part 2.